I'm Katie,
I'm Annette.
and we are the co-creators and co-hosts of the Conscious Eating community. So, Annette, let's get started. Um, let's start by talking about the need that we saw um, in both of our platforms, because I was hosting a blog, a Bright Line Eating food blog,
Mhm.
and you were hosting a mindfulness YouTube channel, and we both come from Bright Line Eating world, and we both kind of created these platforms and sort of naturally fell into these leadership roles
Mhm.
within the BLE world. And so, what was a need that you saw as you started to create that platform and people started to be drawn to you?
Well, I saw a lot of people kind of stuck in a place of experiencing anxiety, sadness, cravings, as we do, and really struggling to sit with those emotions and turn towards them and experience them without sort of tightening around it or turning to food, basically turning to food to solve emotional challenges that food can't solve. Um, and I know that there are mindfulness techniques that I can coach people on that will help them turn towards those difficult emotions with a sense of curiosity and a sense of openness so that they're able to open up to life more fully, um, and have a certain sense of calm around that isn't dependent on any particular context. How about you?
Yeah, and I
Oh,
just want to chime in about that because when you were talking about that, I was just remembering back to when we first met, and because we met through the Bright Line Eating Reboot Resume phone call challenge, and so we had to call somebody every day on this scary phone list of strangers, and we connected immediately. And
right. I got in touch with you thinking like you were listed as Katie Sunshine on the list, but I totally thought like I'm pretty sure this is Cookbook Katie, and I played it. I played
yeah,
it super cool. I was like, if she wants to tell me that, she'll tell me that. I'm not gonna say anything, you know. But yes, that's how we met.
yeah, yeah. But what I was uh, so because we were both in Reboot Resume, we were both coming out of a period of sort of shaky bright lines, or like not fully buying into something was off for both of us. um, and so the thing that so I met you in sort of a emotionally dramatic. I had like a lot of drama, I had an emotionally swirly relationship with my bright lines in that moment. I had been really fully bought in to everything about bright line eating, and it had really served me really well. And now I was, in maintenance for some time and trying to kind of figure out the long term thing. And so there was I had a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions and a lot of drama. And what I was really immediately drawn to about you is you have this like deep, genuine curiosity, and it's not colored with any judgment. It's just like, wow, oh, okay. You have this like spacious ability to just be fascinated by the inner workings of people's minds and people's emotional experience. And I really needed that. I was like I was pretty lost at that moment. And so your ability to kind of hold space for me, but also give me really precise like feedback and really targeted coaching was such a gift, and helped me really move out of that period of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my food. I don't know what my identity is. I don't know if I can trust myself. I don't know any of it. Like my swirliness was really settled by your invitation to me to be more curious. And um, so I'm really excited that you're bringing that to our community. I think it's so valuable.
Well, I'm so glad that the practices that I've learned to bring people help ease your suffering. That's what they're all about. But how about you? How did your perspective as a food blogger, kind of embedded within this BLE world, how does that inform the needs of this community, or what did you take from that experience that makes you want to create this community?
Yeah, pretty early on, I realized that I was really attracting um, people in the Brightline eating community who weren't really buying into this message of like food should be neutral, bland, joyless. Like there's this saying in Brightline eating that, or in the 12-step world, I think is where it comes from, that you should live your life. You should have your food in black and white so you can live your life in color, right? And that just like, oh, that rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning. I was like, no. When I started doing Brightline eating and I started like eating huge piles of vegetables with like delicious sauces all over them and like whole grains and beans and just like fruit and vegetable, like my food came to life. Like my food was vibrant and delicious for the first time in a long time. And so for me, I really wasn't connecting with this idea that food should be joyless. I was thinking like when we learn to eat what our body loves and wants and what actually nourishes us, like food is so joyful. Food is amazing. And so I was really attracting these people who were really wanting to have a joyful relationship with food and weren't connecting with kind of the maybe 12-step messaging around like food should be in the background of your life.
Right.
And yeah, and so I at one point I created a conscious eating Facebook group, like this group for people who wanted to kind of cultivate a more joyful relationship with food within the constraints of their bright lines, who just really wanted to feel more fully connected to the experience of eating, the joys of eating. But that maybe was active for a couple of weeks and then just completely died because it was on Facebook. And as we know, Facebook is not built for community. It is the opposite of community.
It really, really is. But I love what you're saying about the sort of like your advocacy for the joy of food being part of why you're creating this community, because that is like one of the most striking things about you to me is like going back, you were at my house once when my husband brought home like some beets that his mother had grown like straight out of her garden. You know how wonderful. We were here in Portland, Oregon, and the logo for conscious eating community is actually a beet. Like it represents groundedness.
Perfect.
Yeah, groundedness, wonderful, but it also reminds me of this where I greeted this like garden offering, this beautiful thing, as like, ugh, now I'm gonna have to cook this, and like I don't know when, and like I don't have like a plan for it, and like so now it's gonna like rot. I don't know how quickly beets rot, but anyway, I had this like interesting sort of flow of like dread, regret, guilt, like that. And so, I made some sort of like sort of sound, and then Katie was like, what? Like beets are so delicious. Like, I mean, you could steam them, you could boil them, you could roast them, you could combine them with this or that. And oh my gosh, she was just so pumped about these beets. And it made me appreciate them in a different way. And like, that's how you are with food. Like, I do not know anyone who is as like deeply excited about asparagus, like at peak season.
I love asparagus so much.
No. Or like personally offended when I say things like, yeah, I put together a salad, it had some tahini sauce on it, it's nothing special. It's like, what did you say? Like, and it really, like, I know I have the capacity to enjoy food as much as you do. It's just not always like awake to me in that moment. And like, that's what you bring out in me, is my capacity to love food and to look forward to cooking and enjoy my time in the grocery store. All things I can sit with dread around. You bring out the joy of it.
My goal is to free you from that dread.
I know.
Like yesterday we were having, it just reminded me of yesterday we were having, or a couple days ago we were having like a business meeting on Zoom or whatever, and you were in the kitchen and you were like, I'm making peanut sauce, but I don't have any fresh ginger. I was like, what? You can't make peanut sauce, Annette. Like, go right now. The
Yeah.
grocery store is like 2 blocks away. Like, you cannot make peanut sauce without ginger. It's like wrong and an abomination, like
Yeah, no,
I
she's gonna advocate for the ingredients. She really will. And but like well the other piece is like you have this pragmatic sort of approach where you don't make things more complicated than they need to be. It's like both things. Like you don't dread it because it's legitimately an easy, joyful experience for you to go grocery shopping. Like, you're not bogged down in trying to cobble together all of these recipes like I can get sometimes. And I'm excited to see what tools you bring me to bring that sort of ease around it, because I insist on delicious food as well,
Mhm. And I would say that all kind of paints me as this person who's like totally free of the temptation to like eat for entertainment, or I don't like purely have this perfectly lovely relationship with food every day all the time. Like
No.
occasionally I'll get into these like itchy emotional states and like I'll have some cravings and I'll have this like temptation to or for me my biggest trigger is boredom. Like if I'm bored, if my life is sort of not interesting, I'm like okay, I'm itchy, like where's the next, like where's the exciting sexy food? And but where you've really helped me is with kind of those craving states and sitting with that discomfort, not in like I'm like white knuckling my way through my life, but in a like, oh, I'm like, what if I actually was curious about this? What if I actually wondered from a real genuine place of curiosity, like what does it feel like to really want fries right now? And to not make that right or wrong or good or bad, but to just like become more able to be with what's happening in my emotional and mental landscape without like making quick impulsive decisions. And then maybe after sitting with that for an hour, it's like the right decision is to go out and get some fries, but maybe the right decision is to like watch a movie and or do some yoga or like do something that's really gonna feel satisfying. But it's like that built-in pause that you've really taught me to work with. And I think just that ability to pause is like what everyone needs for everything all the time, like solve everyone's problems.
I love that. And yeah, I mean it's the difference between like being a witness to this craving display like unfolding in you and like identifying as craving. Like like people get so deep into their cravings. It's like, like I am French fry need. Like that's how it reads to people. And it's like, if you just kind of watch it, break it apart a little bit and watch it, it's not so powerful. It's not so
And
powerful.
it's entertaining. Like it can be entertaining to just watch the
Yeah.
drama unfold. It's like better than a movie sometimes.
um,
So
yeah.
we've kind of gotten off of our sort of things we want to make sure we address in this video, because
Oh, imagine that. Yeah.
we can just nerd out all day long. But let's go to where do we see our members, because we're starting this community. We're bringing both of our strengths and areas of expertise to our members, these different ways we've been talking about. So where do you see our members in a year? Like what transformation have they undergone, and what have they gained from being in our community?
I love thinking of this, as you know. I think a lot of people on a sort of like average level, like there will be days where it's like hard, like harder than others, but like average level of life being bogged down at all by anxiety, boredom, craving states, all the like kind of swirly states, they've just kind of lowered in volume or significance. And instead, a more open, curious approach to life has emerged. I think people's hearts will be more open. I think there will be greater love and awareness of body, which can play out in so many wonderfully enriching ways. I think, yeah, I mean, and of course, like actual enjoyment of food will be enhanced. And what do you see as the vision, the 1 year vision?
Yeah, I think the enjoyment of food to me really matters.
Hmm.
Like as people are learning to, and as we are, like I'm still on this path too. Like I need you in your coaching, just as
I
anyone
need
else.
you.
But um, as as we're working through our swirly emotional world, um, like developing really strong well-being habits, habits of mind, habits of just practical, make sure your body's healthy. Um, uh, my sort of strength with that is food prep, is like being able to just have the built-in habits in my day and my week of like soak the beans, make the pot of whatever, like
Mhm.
buy the avocados, like do the on the ground
The things you do, just the things you do.
things that things that support like a um real nourishment, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what does engaging in this community look like for somebody who joins on the scale of like day to day, week to week?
Yeah. So I'm the detail guy.
Yeah.
I'm like so nerding out so hard right now on just like the day-to-day offerings. Like there's so much. Um, sort of the maybe the most impactful things that we're offering, and what the participation looks like day to day with that is, Mondays are your mindfulness videos, right? So you're going to be sending out a new technique or a new practice, um, that's just bite sized. It's like powerful. Watch a 2-minute video and then take that invitation into your week and see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a follow up part of, your offering coaching midweek, like a live coaching call to support people with getting individual feedback from you and reporting on how their practice is or isn't integrating in their day to day. And then my contribution is more in the kind of habit formation details, like
Mm-hmm.
weekly food prep challenges, recipes. But honestly, like my goal is to help reduce people's reliance on recipes
I
and
love
to help them learn how to cook a beet, like how to have beets come in the house and be so excited about beets with salt. That's like no recipe. I can't wait to eat these beets with salt. You know, um, that's really my aesthetic and what I want. I want people to feel empowered to to know what to do with food, to enjoy their relationship with food. But anyway, let's see, what was I trying to talk about? The day to day. So um, and then we have a number every single day. There's like just a new little nugget in the community that we'll be posting, according to kind of a weekly routine. So our real goal is for people to build a habit of coming into the community maybe once a day, maybe bookending their day with like a morning check-in, a nighttime check-in, um, taking whatever is being offered and then contributing in some way. um, but then really where our community comes to life, I think, is going to be in the workshops that we offer. So we have kind of a monthly theme, and then within that theme we offer live workshops with our members to really do a deep dive into a topic, and or maybe like take a practice that people have been working on and like take it to the next level, or really like sit down. Like we have a digital dinner party. I love that idea of like people getting together on crowdcast with a meal and like being guided through a mindful eating practice together, like that kind of thing. And we have a workshop being offered in April by one of our good friends who is doing a workshop on working with cravings, like working on and the trigger practice, of like inducing a craving and then working with it. um,
Yes.
just like these juicy juicy work that
Yes.
we'll do together.
And
And
deep
that
practice, like that's the thing, is this community is a vehicle for going deep with your meditation mindfulness practice. And that's why it was important to me to embed my coaching services in a system of support, because otherwise they don't stick. You need community to lift each other up.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how our members, because we already have a number of people who are really excited to join, who
Mhm.
have expertise in whatever various things, who are already saying like, can I teach a workshop on this? Can I teach a workshop on this? And we're like, yes, like so excited. And so, and that's really where the connection is. I think the workshops and the coaching and the live face-to-face video engagement is going to be what really differentiates our community from like a Facebook community or something. Facebook community.
Mhm.
And so can you talk a little bit, Annette, about like why our platform is not Facebook and why it's so great?
Yeah, and I think right now this is considered to be a bold move to start a community off of Facebook. But the reason I have confidence in that is because this is something that can really unite people. So we have a solid reason for the people to come together and lift each other up to learn something new and grow together. We have a compelling community here that I think we can all be passionate about. So Facebook is just never as rejuvenating as I want it to be. It tends to slip into just like a little like feeling of like numb or like ugh, even like just like a sort kind of like negative emotional valence, that some sort of category around that. Yeah.
And it's
Um,
completely like just sucks you right in. And then you're like, I came like I have this habit of like I got on Facebook to do something and then 20 minutes later I'm like, wait, what was I gonna do on Facebook? Like
it's built
I'm
for distraction.
distracted with all this crap everywhere and what's this college friend doing today? And it's like, no, I'm trying to connect with my mindfulness community. Like it's a mess. It's
Yes.
not built community.
So you come into this community with an intention, you leave with some sort of inspiration, some sort of tool, some sort of focus to your day. And I want it to be a genuine place for renewal and inspiration and just like practical tools, good support for habits. I don't find that on Facebook.
So to be clear, we're using a different platform. It's called Mighty Networks, and it's designed really intentionally for communities like this. So it's built to really do all the things we want it to do. It's really, really well designed.
So
And it has a mobile app,
yes.
which is great. Like I've already been, there's like 2 members right now that we're sort of piloting, and I'm already like engaging with them on that mobile app. And it's great. So is there anything else we want to mention before we?
I think that was everything. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to be creating this with you, Annette, and um, just really look forward to what you have to offer me and our community so
Oh,
much.
well, right back at you. I'm so excited. And thank you to everybody for watching. If you haven't already signed up for the Conscious Eating Community email list, please do so at the link below. We send out mindfulness practices, food prep, guidance and support, and community updates. So you'll want to be a part of that list if this is of interest to you. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.